Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship you have. Robert Holden. Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. Here we talk about personal development, relationships, and mental health, just to name a few. My name is Carmen, a registered counsellor who is passionate about coming alongside people. This podcast is designed to create a discussion and bring awareness, with each episode encouraging, equipping, and empowering you to live your best life. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode. How are you? I'm so glad that we can spend this time together. And in this episode, we unpack self-connection and how to establish or maintain a sense of connection with ourselves. With the hustle and bustle of life, we can find ourselves here, there, and everywhere. We have commitments to others, responsibilities, and perhaps even personal expectations that we have placed on ourselves. However, are we staying in connection with ourselves throughout? You might be thinking, what do you mean about staying in connection with ourselves? For example, how about our ever-changing feelings, thoughts and self-talk, the chatter that goes on in our heads, our personal wins, and our needs and our wants? How often do we actually stop and think about these? Do we have time to stop and reflect on what's going on within us? Psychology Today explains that self-connection has 3 components. These consist of self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-alignment. So let's look into these a little further. So self-awareness is awareness of one's internal experiences, thoughts, emotions, sensations, preferences, values, intuitions, resources, goals, etc. Self-acceptance is full acknowledgement and acceptance without judgment of self-relevant characteristics and experiences, and seeing them as part of us and belonging to us. And self-alignment is using self-knowledge to behave in ways that authentically reflect oneself and fulfill one's psychological needs. For example, autonomy. A recent study conducted by Carmen and colleagues show that self-connection is associated with numerous positive outcomes. These include pleasant emotions, life satisfaction, clarity, and a sense of purpose. People who are disconnected from themselves are more likely to experience unpleasant emotions like sadness, anger, stress, confusion, and feeling that their life is unsatisfactory with no purpose. They also developed and validated a new measure called the Self-Connection Scale, which provides an analysis of authenticity, mindfulness, self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-concept, clarity, and well-being. If you would like to determine your level of self-connection using the scale developed in this study, you can head over to carmendebono.com.au and I'll provide the link in the show notes where you can access the self-connection scale. A side note, scales are there to serve us and not the other way around. They are not there to box and label us. Instead, they are there to provide information or identify any gaps so we can start to close them. Understanding where we are can be an empowering process if we choose to lean in and grow. If you would like to establish or maintain a sense of connection, you can also pause a few times during the day and check how connected you feel by asking yourself, have I been self-aware? Have I been self-accepting? And has my behaviour reflected my true self? Have you ever committed to spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself better? I made it a mission of mine to do activities that I would do with others on my own, like going to the movies or to a restaurant. It felt foreign at first, but empowering at the same time. What is something that you've always wanted to have a go at or experience? And is this something that you would do on your own? Or is it something reserved to do with others? And I wonder if it's having those activities that fit in both categories. So, on a finishing note, what is something that you can do to connect with yourself? And if you already are, what can you do to maintain that connection? Like always, thank you for the opportunity to share this time with you and wishing you all the very best. So that's it for today's episode. As always, I'm grateful for the opportunity to come alongside you. If you know someone who might benefit from hearing this episode, why not share it with them? Don't want to miss an episode? You can subscribe to the podcast. And if you are listening via Apple Podcast, I would be most grateful if you would leave a review. For more content, head over to carmendebono.com.au, and I look forward to coming alongside you again on the first Wednesday of the month.